Hello and welcome. My name is Zafar Iqbal, and you are watching the Mojo Story. On a day when the quantum of punishment was announced for the Kolkata rape and murder case, convict Sanjay Roy, the judge announced that he's guilty and he was given a quantum of punishment of life sentence. A different case in a different state. A Kerala court has sentenced 24-year-old Greeshma to death for poisoning her partner Sharon Raj in 2022 after he refused to end their relationship, calling it a rarest of rare case due to the breach of trust and its negative societal implications. Now, remember, in the RG Kaur murder and rape case, the judge said that was not the rarest of the rare case. But here in this case, the judge has said that it's the rarest of the rare case. Sharon died of organ failure after consuming a poison laced Ayurvedic drink served by Greeshma, who acted under family pressure to marry someone else. These are what the reports are saying. While her uncle received a 3-year sentence for destroying evidence, her mother was acquitted. Uh, the court has rejected defense pleas for leniency based on Grishma's age and academic promise, emphasizing that the calculated nature of her crime. To discuss this, we're joined by an eminent panel today. We're joined by Prashant Padmanabhan, who joins us, who is a lawyer, a Supreme Court lawyer. Welcome to Mojo Story, sir. We are also joined by Brinda, women rights activist. Uh, Welcome to Mojo Story, Brinda. If I may start with you, Prashantji, the court has termed the case as rarest of rare to justify the death penalty. Could you explain the criteria for such classification, uh, and how does this case fit into it? As I was saying, on a day when RG Kaur rape and murder case convict has been awarded punishment sentencing, which is life imprisonment and not death, and just saying that that is not the rarest of the rare case.
It is largely a judge-made criteria, and it is not a objective like a scientific method. It's like it changes from bench to bench. A
Right.
different which may find the same set of facts not fitting in that criteria.
Yeah.
So, Supreme Court in Bachchan Singh's case and Makhi Singh's case has laid down certain criteria by which certain parameters are laid down. You have to see the sentencing court has to see the aggravating and mitigating circumstances
Right.
and arrive at a conclusion that there is no possibility of reformation and no other sentence except that sentence will suffice for this course. So it is very difficult to say that it is impossible to correct a person who is found guilty, and therefore the modern jurisprudence and world over the effort is now to do away with the death sentence and to reform the criminal. That is a reformative theory of punishment,
Right.
rather than
Right.
it should never be retributive. So as you have rightly pointed out, when RJ Katkar case, when the court can find that it's not within that criteria and the criminal can be reformed, how could the this 24-year-old woman who is the first time offender, she should, this is the only one punishment which can meet the ends of justice. So that is a highly questionable criteria, and I feel that though the circumstances are pointing out to her guilt beyond doubt, and it's a gruesome murder, there is no doubt about that, and there is an element of that social uh, with that status of the victim as well as the accused, because he belongs to caste which is termed as Avarnas or OBC, and she belongs to a Savarna caste. All those things are there, and it could have been like the relationship could have ended peacefully. And all that has not happened. It's a gruesome crime. There is no doubt about that. But I doubt whether death sentence is the only adequate punishment in this case, considering her age and the chance for her to reform.
Right. An important point that you have made, Prashantji. Coming to you, Brinda, as you were saying that relationship could have ended amicably, but there are reports that Grishma's actions were reportedly driven by family pressure to end her relationship. How can we address the societal and pressures that may lead to such extreme decisions?
See, first and foremost, I would like to comment about the quantum of punishment extended
Right.
by the judge in Kerala.
Yeah.
And we also know that there are several such cases, not only in Kerala, but in other parts of India. And often it might be the man who has poisoned or the man who has murdered the woman. And we do not see the judges giving that kind of a stringent punishment like capital punishment. Now,
Right.
that said, we also must understand that largely most judges, most courts are very patriarchal in nature. So, looking at this particular case and claiming that it is the rarest of rare,
Yeah.
while we want to compare it with the Kolkata case, which we
Yeah.
believe is the rarest of rare, because we understand the brutality and the heinousness with which that young doctor was raped and murdered, we might, as layperson, think that that is the most rarest of rare because of its heinous,
Right.
horrific, brutal manner. So
Right.
here, when people say or she claims that it was family pressure, we must understand that caste discrimination, caste atrocities are a galore everywhere. And here also the assumption is that if she can do away with him, then this whole family prestige and respect and insult or humiliation that might come as a result of him being around alive, going out and talking about it or posting it on social media, might be a great fear with the family. That again, we come back to a patriarchal society that continues to place a lot of these burdens on the girl or the woman's party. But everything said and done, I think it is time for us as a society to ask these questions. Is there anything called caste purity? Is it okay that a upper caste person, so-called upper caste dominant person, can do these things and get away with it? Because if I'm also trying to be the devil's advocate here, if the judge says this could be an exemplary punishment so that others don't think of doing something like this to somebody who's of subordinate caste and think that they can get away, so all of these things put in place, uh, death penalty is not something that is going to solve this problem. So that is something we are very, very clear with. And like Mr. Padmanabhan said, space and case for reformation. That, whether it is possible or not, as an individual and as a family and as a community, still remains as a question. But that said, the judge has not raised anything seriously about the caste atrocities itself. In this particular case, all of those ramifications need to be brought to book so that the society and community at large understands that all of these things put together is this death penalty.
Right. Prashantji, it could not have, there could be no stark contrast than today. In the morning, we were covering the RG Core rape and murder case, where the sense was that the convict would perhaps get the maximum punishment. That is what the CBI lawyers were pushing for. That is what the family of the victim was asking for. But the judge said it's not the rarest of the rare case and gave a life sentence. And on the other hand, when this Kerala case comes to light, there were, you know, there was a case made that she's young, she has a career in front of her. This is the first time that she has done. But all of that was set aside and it was considered as rarest of the rare case, and she's given the maximum punishment. What is the legal recourse for, in this case, for Grishma, now that she's been awarded the maximum punishment here?
All the death sentences are to be confirmed by the High Court. Only then it becomes executable. Therefore, definitely the High Court is going to sit in appeal over this judgment, and they will examine the evidence threadbare, and there will be a stay, automatic stay, and the High Court
Right.
has to certify. High Court has to independently apply its mind and see whether this is the only adequate punishment in the facts and circumstances of this case. Otherwise, a life sentence is the other alternative. So, in all probability, I feel that this will be reduced to life sentence in the appeal in the High Court itself.
Right.
Like I have earlier pointed out, I have no grievance with the Kolkata court's verdict because the effort world over is to do away with death sentence. And in India, the effort is, and the Law Commission report also says, except in terror-related cases where that indiscriminate killing of innocent people happen, in all other cases, the effort should be to give life imprisonment an alternative to death sentence, and death sentence should be only in exceptional cases. And I don't find this to be such a case. And if you consider her age and the prospect for her to study and come back to society in the normal live stream, and admitting all the caste atrocities and all these mindset, even in the younger generation, the alternative or the corrections which is required in the society, which I feel, is that people who should be mature enough before falling in love, and they should learn to let it go. If the other partner doesn't want to continue, the person should be able to accept that fact also. That type of a training is required to be given to all the youngsters, because she cannot blame the family for backing out from a relation. It is her choice. She is an adult and grown up individual. If she has
Right.
decided to live with him or to leave him and to go with somebody else, he should also have been able to admit that fact. And we don't know what exactly has happened. The
Yes.
allegations are that he has compelled her to stay back and all those things.
Yeah.
If that is true, then there is something which has compelled. These things happen even in normal relations, but never, the crime is never a remedy for anything. The mindset that we can do away with the partner, whether it is a male or female, that is very dangerous. And here, as Madam has rightly pointed out, that caste plays a very important factor. You can't normally all the persons, the victims are on the receiving end. Earlier there was an incident. There was one boy whose name is Kevin. He belongs to a Dalit background, and he was also killed by the girl's family. Girl was not involved. The girl's family has done away with him. Those things happen. That it is repeatedly happening. That means correction is required before crime happen.
Right. Right. And as you were saying that we don't know what exactly happened, but how crucial was the handling of circumstantial evidence in securing Grishma's conviction? The uncle's role in destroying evidence. Could it have significantly altered the outcome?
Yes, it had played a significant role, and the learned judge has pointed out in his judgment that the police has done a brilliant job in this case. They have
Yeah.
collected evidence, scientific evidence, and with the circumstantial evidence and scientific evidence, the court could arrive at this decision.
Right. So
That
that is
was done
an
properly. Yes, that is a
yes.
positive aspect of this case. It was done very fast, and then prosecution has done a brilliant job in this case.
Right. And that is a very important point that that has been put out. But Brinda, could stronger emotional or psychological support systems for women in stressful familiar or relationship situations, prevent such cases, such tragedies from happening? Yeah, please unmute.
or such
Yeah,
other support would help, so that the woman is not pushed to the brink to say my family is forcing me and so this is what I did. Like Mr. Padmanabhan pointed out, she's 24 years old, enough to know what is right and wrong, what is a crime and what is not. So that kind of free will is with her. She should have made those kind of decisions. But we also know that families are usually the ones behind honor killings, and
right.
often we find that the honor killing happens every
And and,
time
and, and,
when
and
one.
we used to call them dishonor killings rather than honor killings.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Dishonorable killing,
yeah,
brutal dishonorable killing, that
yeah,
is always there when one of the other partner belongs to a subordinate caste, irrespective of the religion. Mr. Padmanabhan pointed out about Kevin. Irrespective of the religion, the caste is the most dominant factor that allows for that kind of an atrocity. And somewhere, I think, if you look at all our cases in different courts across India, we have rarely seen judges passing a very stringent order against this kind of dishonorable killing from the north up to south, or even east and west. If you see, nobody, where the entire family and sometimes whole entire communities are involved, nobody has got punished, at least not punished vis-a-vis the procedural available laws. So there are a lot of excuses that are given away over there. Now here, if he is looking at giving a death, where he has pronounced a death penalty to only that girl, whereas the others who have abetted or pushed her or encouraged her or intimidated her, threatened her, whatever words we might want to use, I have been given very light sentences. That is disagreeable, because I think, irrespective of who actually gave the poison,
Right.
the fact that all these people were a coterie around her to do this must be equally punished. Though death penalty is not something that is acceptable, because we know that this
Right.
is certainly not, cannot be considered rarest of rare, because there are a lot of
Right.
caste atrocities where nobody gets punished. So we would like certain and swift punishment to go hand in hand in all such cases of atrocities and murder.
Right. We also have the lawyer's sound bite. If we can use that first, and then we can go to Prashantji for further discussion.
Thinking that it was absolutely inconducive with my perspectives and also my thought and thinking, because while I was just going through entire evidence and while arguing the matter before the court of law, in fact, I was confident that that would be admitted and accepted by the court, because such a fashion the evidence was tendered in the court. So that was accepted by the court, and the court has literally, that has been examined, analyzed, and also at the time when I argued that the highest and the rarest of the rare case category is there in this particular case and capital punishment is to be awarded, that was also well discussed and well narrated by the court in open court, and probably just even all the media people and who were present there in the court also could have just heard that. So I think just I need not explain that in what fashion court has just pronounced the judgment. In fact, for the first time in my official engagement as a special public prosecutor, this verdict in a very, very fantastic manner the court has, because the court, I should say one word about the court also, because in a very short span of time, about 40 days or so, in fact, this after framing the charge, and once on October 14th, the trial was started, and thereafter it could be concluded within this very short span of time. In fact, we have to just salute the court for concluding in a very justifiable manner, and the pronouncement of judgment also, because this should be, it should set a history and a model to the judiciary. In fact, I say that. I would say that it is not alone for the whole Kerala, but in fact, this is for the whole judiciary in the country. This is what I feel. An exemplary judgment, I would say.
Capital punishment needs to be got by the Greeshma and also the Nirman Kumar, third victim.
No, absolutely no. I just expected and I argued only for A1 that capital punishment is to be awarded, because the reason is very simple. In fact, even as per the police charge, that is final report, and also the other, the court charge, which is framed by the court, and in fact only the 201 that is for tampering with the evidence of IPC, that alone was charged against them. So there is no question of just giving capital punishment or even for any other punishment for murder. In fact, there is no allegation against them like that. So only allegation against them is for tampering with the evidence, and A2 was acquitted for want of evidence, and A3 is given adequate punishment with 3 years imprisonment.
Right. So you heard it, Prashantji, he says exemplary judgment, but the defense argued for a chance at reformation of Greeshma. How does the judiciary weigh societal deterrence and individual reformation in such cases? Because these are unique cases. These are not, even in the RG Kaur case, the lawyer pointed at reformation of uh, Sanjay Roy, the main convict in that case. The judge asked Sanjay Roy that you have done this crime. What should the punishment be awarded to you? No, these are different cases, and they set an example. They are in the spotlight, and they are under focus, people watch such cases because they set an example for the future course of events.
See, the studies show that certainty and the speed with which the courts arrive at a decision is much more deterrent than
Right.
the quantum of punishment. Death sentence may not serve the purpose of deterrence, but if you're certain, when you're going to do a crime, if you're certain that you will be caught and the legal system is very efficient
Yeah.
and there will be a certainty of punishment, then that is more deterrent than somebody is getting punished for death and then the higher court reducing it to life imprisonment, languishing in jail for long years. So that is that is the result of studies, and this we have to appreciate the speed with which the judge has arrived at the decision, the appreciation of evidence. Everything is well, good, but the sentencing is a very serious business. A study is conducted in Delhi National Law University, and they have arrived at a decision that most of the courts, they do not spend adequate time or weigh all the factors, mitigating circumstances by which a person should be given a punishment lesser than that of death sentence. So that is not done in this case also. That's my feeling. I have not gone through the entire evidence, and even that judgment in its full is not uploaded. So I can't comment on each and every evidence, but
Right.
certainly, even if we accept the facts as it is, and if the decision and appreciation of evidence, assuming it to be correct, I don't think that quantum of death sentence is proper in this case.
Right. That's an important point to make, and as you said, that it has to get a clearance from the High Court, and High Court could probably bring it down to a life sentence. But Brinda, what lessons can be drawn from this case to improve, societal awareness, legal systems, and support mechanisms, not just for women but for men in strained relationships?
Absolutely. I think first and foremost, we must begin with education and awareness from our schools and into our colleges. The kind of messaging that comes to us from social media or the films, it's always a message. The kind of messaging is patriarchal, sexist, misogynistic, and the use of language that is a gendered language reiterates as if this is something that we can get away with. And we have watched movies and there have been rave reviews about these kind of movies where it says that okay, she must be punished, he must be punished because of this, because of that, not realizing that these are relationships. And as human beings living in civilized society, a relationship could probably go sour for whatever reason, and they are no longer compatible. You just as mature people move away from each other to live your own lives in a much better fashion.
Right.
That said, we need to also understand the burden that we continuously place on a woman, that you've been friendly with somebody, so now you're spoilt, you're no longer chaste, you're no longer whatever. So the man continues, he can have as many affairs as he wants, he can get married as many times as he wants, and it is okay. So all of this is wrong messaging, which requires to be constantly tailored and altered, because we also see our leaders speaking like this and making these kind of statements. So we want to hold all of them responsible. The kind of support that we want to extend to both men, women, and trans persons who may be undergoing these kind of challenges in their relationships is to call organizations. There are several organizations that are working on these kind of issues, and they can even just speak over the phone, so that there is an anonymity that is maintained. They don't have to go there in person. That
Right.
said, we need to tell parents, don't sit on conventional terms pushing your daughter to do things or your son to do things that will just make their lives even more miserable. We are supposed to be making
Right.
lives better for our young people.
Right. Prashantji, I know you have to leave, but last word to you. Do you believe that this verdict will serve as a deterrent, or it is mere symbolic given the rarity of such cases?
It may certainly play the role of a warning signal, but we don't know. Like at the spur of the moment, somebody may repeat the same crime unless there are changes in the mindset, as
Right.
rightly pointed out by Brinda. And
Yeah.
the change has to start from society, from family, from small places where we play different roles, and it has to be that education has to be imparted for all the genders, and especially for older generation also. They should accept the fact that the children are like moving away with their like loved ones, and if that mindset is changed in the society, then there will be a greater acceptance. If there is a breakup, that's fine, and it should not lead to a crime. And this social strata and all these things, if it is playing into your mind, then you don't fall in love with somebody whom you don't consider your equal. That's very bad. And that even the younger generation, they are driven by all these caste
Right.
distinctions and all that. That's very bad, more than religion.
Right.
But
That's
that
an
religion is
important,
what
important.
reiterates caste.
Yes, Brindaji, you want to?
Religion reiterates caste, because we
Yes.
know time and again somewhere it is put into our heads that God has made me to be born in a certain family and not in another certain family, because of which I assume it is an inherent entitled right for me to either discriminate or cause atrocities on someone and treat them badly. And somewhere you are telling the other person that you are just born like this, so you have to suffer it. So we need to address this entire issue, where religion propels, saying this is okay, this is how God wants you, this is what God wants you to do, and so you have a God-given right or entitlement to do something like this, and the other person to feel that you are anyway going to get moksha because this is what you're meant to suffer over here in this lifetime. So I think we need to address that issue very seriously.
Brinda and Prashantji, thanks so much for joining the Mojo Story today and for sharing your thoughts. Education and awareness are the key. We'll have to leave it here. Thanks to our viewers for watching the Mojo Story.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.